When I first met Alyssa, I honestly thought I had found the one person who actually valued loyalty in a world where everyone seemed to treat relationships like temporary entertainment. She was bright, funny, affectionate, and she always said things like, "I'm done with toxic people," and "I just want stability." I believed her. God knows I believed her. We had been together for almost a year, and things were good, like genuinely good. I'm talking planning trips together, meeting family, discussing future kind of good. I trusted her completely. I never once felt the need to check her phone or question who she went out with. She had a past, sure, everyone does. But she told me she was done with all the old drama. Her ex, just a lesson learned, as she put it. So, imagine my surprise when one night while we were having dinner, she casually drops, "Oh, by the way, my friends are planning a trip to Cabo in a few weeks." I smiled and said it sounded fun. I even asked if she wanted me to come. But she hesitated. Not like a shy hesitation, a guilty one. And then she finally said it. "Well, my ex is going too." I froze. I blinked. I tried to process it before reacting because I didn't want to look controlling or insecure or possessive. Three things women throw at men these days when men express even reasonable concerns. I just said calmly, "Why would your ex be on a trip with you?" She shrugged like it was no big deal. "We're all still friends. It's not weird. You know we ended things mutually." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because of how insane that sentence sounded. I told her straight, "No, I'm not comfortable with that. If you want to go to Cabo with your friends, cool, but why would you need your ex there?" And that was it. Her entire demeanor changed. Suddenly, I was the villain in the story. She rolled her eyes, pushed back her chair, and started with the classic lines. "You're being controlling. You don't trust me. Whatever, I thought you were mature." I stayed calm. I told her I trusted her, but I didn't trust him, and more importantly, I didn't trust the history they had. She stormed out that night, slamming the door like a teenager. I figured she needed time to cool off. Instead, by the next morning, I woke up to my phone blowing up with screenshots from people sending me her public post on Instagram. A black screen with white text. "When your boyfriend is so insecure and controlling that he won't let you go on a group trip just because your ex will be there. Ladies, run from this type." And the comments? God. Dozens of girls hyping her up, calling me toxic, calling me manipulative, calling me a red flag. And then the worst part, her ex commented with a laughing emoji and the words, "Some dudes just can't handle real confidence." My hands were shaking, not because I was angry, but because I realized something important in that moment. This wasn't just a simple disagreement. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was her showing me exactly who she really was and who she had been the whole time. She didn't care about my feelings. She didn't care about respect. She cared about attention. And she had just declared war publicly. I didn't yell. I didn't respond. I didn't defend myself. I just watched. Because if she wanted a show, oh, I was going to give her one. And trust me, everyone was going to see how this story really ends.
I didn't message her, didn't comment, didn't do anything publicly. I let her think she won. Because the moment you start defending yourself to people who already decided you're the villain, you've already lost. Instead, I spent the next 2 days being quiet and observant, and silence is powerful. Alyssa was expecting an argument, a dramatic back and forth, begging, guilt, something. But when she got nothing, She spiraled. First, she texted me long paragraphs about how a real man would trust her. Then she tried to guilt-trip me. I've never felt so unsupported in my life. Then, when I didn't respond, she switched to anger. If you don't answer me, I'm going on this trip whether you like it or not. I still didn't answer. She wanted me emotional. I stayed strategic. Meanwhile, her post was still up, gaining traction, being shared on stories by girls who didn't even know me. Some dude I'd never met commented, LMAO, her BF son's insecure as hell, and she liked the comment. That was it. She crossed the line from disagreement to public disrespect. There's no coming back from that. The day before the trip, she came to my apartment, all makeup done, cute dress, acting sweet like nothing happened. She walked in with that tone like I was supposed to apologize. So, are you done being dramatic? She laughed. I just looked at her calmly and said, Are you still going on the trip? She said yes, confidently, almost proudly. Yeah, I'm not letting you control me. I nodded. Okay, then we're done. Her face froze like someone hit pause. She wasn't expecting that. She expected an argument she could twist, but I gave her clarity. Final, non-negotiable. That's when she broke. She grabbed my arm, started crying, saying I was throwing away our relationship over nothing. I asked one simple question. If the roles were reversed, if I went on a trip with my ex, would you accept it? She didn't say a word. Not one. She just stood there, silent, mascara running. That silence said everything. She left, slamming the door again, but this time it wasn't confident. It was desperate. Now here's where the revenge begins. Not petty revenge, not dramatic revenge, just letting the truth reveal itself. She still went on the Cabo trip, still posted the girls' trip pictures, but here's what she didn't realize. One of the guys who went on the trip? Ryan. He wasn't her ex. He was one of my friends, someone I'd known since high school. And when this all started, he reached out to me privately. Turns out he had already seen messages, screenshots, conversations between her and her ex weeks before the trip. Flirty messages, harmless inside jokes, late-night memories. All the things she swore she was done with. She didn't know he had seen them. She didn't know he told me. So while she was in Cabo taking beach selfies, posting captions about healing energy and living my truth, I didn't have to expose her. I didn't have to say a single word, because my silence made her paranoid. She started posting less. Then nothing. Then suddenly her page went private. And then I got the text. Can we talk? No apology. No accountability. Just the classic, let's pretend it never happened. I didn't answer. I kept living. Worked out more, hung out with friends, slept well, ate well. I didn't lose anything. She did, and she knew it. But the real fallout didn't happen until she came back home. Because the trip didn't go the way she expected. Her ex didn't treat her like the prize she thought she was, and someone, maybe Ryan, maybe one of her friends, let slip that I already knew everything. That I knew before she even posted about me. That I left because I respected myself, not because I was insecure. And when she got home, realizing the entire narrative she built online was collapsing, she tried to fix it the only way people like her know how, by making another post. This one was different. Oh, it was very different. She got back from Cabo looking nothing like the radiant, free-spirited girl she had tried to portray online. Her tan didn't hide the stress on her face, and the first thing she did when she got home wasn't to rest or unpack. She made another Instagram story. This time it wasn't bold or self-righteous, it was vague. One of those black screen, white text pity posts that screams desperation. Sometimes people leave because they're scared of real love. Then another one. Healing is messy. Not everyone will understand. Then a quote meme about being misjudged. No names, but everyone knew who she meant. She was trying to rewrite the narrative again. But it backfired instantly. Her own comments turned against her, mostly because screenshots had already started circulating. Screenshots of her and her ex.
Screenshots that were taken long before the Cabo trip. Screenshots of her sending him, "I miss how easy things used to be," at 2:13 a.m. while I was asleep next to her. Screenshots of her telling him, "He's a good guy, but he's not exciting like you." And worst of all, the one that really made my chest feel like it caved in, her telling him he doesn't need to know, it would break him. And she was right. It did. Not in the dramatic, fall-apart kind of way. More like a quiet, steady heartbreak that makes you rethink every smile, every kiss, every "I love you," every memory that felt real at the time but now just feels like a hallucination you didn't know you were having. She texted me again, but this time the tone was different. "Please just talk to me. It's not what it looks like." A classic line. The script all cheaters are handed at birth, apparently. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I let her messages sit. Let the silence answer for me. And silence is a hell of a response. A few days later, I went out with some friends to a rooftop bar downtown. I wasn't trying to be petty. I just wanted to breathe. To exist somewhere that didn't feel heavy. I was laughing with my friends, actually having a decent night when I saw her. She was there with her friends, dressed up, acting loud enough for everyone around her to know she was having fun. But the second her eyes landed on me, her whole face cracked. She walked over, ignoring the way her friends tried to hold her back, and said, "Can we talk outside?" Every person at that bar turned to look. I sighed, put down my drink, and went outside with her. Not because I wanted to fix anything, but because I needed to hear the truth come out of her own mouth. Outside, she immediately started crying, mascara streaking again. "It wasn't cheating," she stammered. "We were just talking. I didn't do anything with him." I looked her right in the eyes and asked, "Did you hide it from me?" She stopped. "That's not the same. Answer the question." She swallowed. "Yes." And there it was. The simplest truth always comes out in the smallest word. Yes. I nodded. Then it was betrayal. Whether you touched him or not. She started begging then. Saying we could fix it, saying therapy, saying we could grow, saying the trip opened her eyes to what she really wants. But here's the thing. Her revelation wasn't about love. It was about loss. She didn't come back because she chose me. She came back because he didn't choose her. And I refuse, absolutely refuse, to be someone's fallback option. So I told her, calm, controlled, "I don't hate you. I just don't respect you anymore." And that was the moment she broke for real. No anger, no attitude, just silence and shaking breath. Because she realized I was done, not emotionally, not dramatically, not temporarily, permanently. She walked away that night. And for the first time in our entire relationship, she didn't slam the door.
After that night outside the bar, things didn't immediately calm down. They got worse. Because when someone who thrives on attention and validation loses the person who gave them stability, they don't self-reflect, they look for replacements. Fast. 2 days later, she posted a picture at a lounge, sitting on a guy's lap. A dude none of us knew. The caption was something painfully predictable like moving on and leveling up. But it didn't give off confidence, it gave off panic. The comments were a battlefield. Half were her friends yelling, "Yes, queen!" And the other half were people who had seen the screenshots, asking why she was acting like the victim when she was the one who betrayed someone. One girl even commented, "Sis, he left you respectfully. Why are you embarrassing yourself?" She deleted that comment within minutes, then blocked the girl. Classic. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. No response, no reaction. I went to work, hit the gym, ate decent meals, slept well. My life didn't fall apart because I didn't let my identity be tied to someone who didn't value me. And that silence drove her insane. A week later, I was getting ready for work when my phone buzzed. Her name again.
I know you don't want to talk, but can you please just meet me one last time? I just want closure. I didn't reply. I didn't need closure. I had clarity. But fate has a way of making moments collide whether you want them to or not. That weekend, I was at my best friend Jacob's apartment for a small get-together. Just 6 or 7 of us, cold beers, a movie playing, nobody was really watching. And who walks in with one of the girls? Alyssa. She froze when she saw me. Her eyes went wide like she didn't expect I'd continue having a life she wasn't in. I just nodded. Not coldly, not warmly, just acknowledging she existed. And I kept talking to my friends. That bothered her more than any insult could have. Later, I stepped out onto the balcony for some air, and she followed me. "Why are you acting like none of this matters to you?" she asked, her voice cracking. I didn't want to be cruel. I didn't want to hurt her more than she had already done to herself. So I spoke honestly, because I already accepted it. You made your choice, and I made mine. She wiped her eyes aggressively, like she was trying to force herself not to cry. Then she whispered, "I thought he would choose me." There it was, the real truth. Not love, not loyalty, not regret. Rejection. She wasn't hurting because she lost me. She was hurting because she wasn't wanted by the person she thought would catch her when she fell. She jumped, he stepped aside, and I didn't move to catch her either. "I loved you," I said quietly, "but I won't compete with your past." She broke then, full breakdown, hands covering her face. I didn't touch her, didn't comfort her, didn't insult her either. I just stood there and let the silence sit between us. Eventually, she went back inside. 15 minutes later, she left the apartment entirely. No goodbye, no final words, just gone. And for a moment, I did feel something. Not loss, not longing, just a quiet sadness that someone who had the chance at something real chose chaos instead. But the story doesn't end there, because just when I thought things were finally over, her ex messaged me.
When I saw his name pop up on my screen, I actually laughed. The audacity. Her ex, Ethan. The guy she swore was just a friend. The one who had been in her DMs at 2 a.m. The one she once told me meant nothing now. He was messaging me. His text started with, "Hey man, I think we should talk." Like we were teammates or something. I didn't respond for a while, but curiosity had the better of me, so I opened it. He went on, "I just wanted to say I didn't know she was still with you when we started talking again. She told me you guys were on a break." A break. Interesting, considering we literally woke up next to each other every morning. I typed back one sentence. You knew. Because he did. They always do. He waited a minute, then replied, "Yeah, I did." And that was it. The first honest thing either of them had said throughout all of this. Then another message. "Look, man, I just thought you deserved to know. She tried to get back with me after Cabo. I told her no. She's been blowing up my phone. It's getting messy." Messy. That word made something click in my head. She wasn't just ashamed. She was unraveling. She had lost her relationship, her narrative, her backup plan, and now her ego was bleeding out. He then sent a screenshot, her begging him to meet, saying she made a mistake, that she chose wrong, that she only wanted to see where things stood, and you never tried for me the way he did. He responded with, "No, I'm not a second round." The irony. The man she threw away something real for looked at her the same way I now did, as someone who didn't know how to choose, as someone who wanted to be chased instead of valued. And I should have been satisfied, but I wasn't. Not in a petty way, not in a revenge way, in a finality way. This needed to end. Fully.
permanently. So I wrote back to him, "Appreciate the honesty. Don't contact me again." He said, "Fair enough," and that was that. But I wasn't done. Not yet. Because while I didn't want to humiliate her publicly, I also wasn't going to let the world believe her version of the story. I don't care about strangers on Instagram, but I do care about my name, my integrity, my respect. So I made one post. One. No rant, no anger, no insults. Just a picture of me at that same rooftop bar from the night I saw her, drink in hand, sunset behind me. And the caption, "Self-respect is not controlling. It's choosing not to compete with someone's past." No names, no tagging, no accusations, just truth. And that truth hit harder than anything I could have said. Her friends saw it. My friends saw it. Our mutuals saw it. Comments started coming in. "This. Real. You handled that like a man. Proud of you." And then the one comment that confirmed everything. Her sister liked the post and followed me and messaged me. Not in a flirty way, in a quiet, heavy, I need to say this kind of way. She wrote, "I'm sorry. She's been like this her whole life. You were the first real person she dated. I hope you find someone who treats you right." That was the closure. Not her tears, not her apologies, not the drama. Just truth. Simple, steady truth. And I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Peace. But peace has a way of drawing attention. And the moment Alyssa saw that post, because of course she did, she showed up at my door. Again. But this time, she wasn't crying. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't even angry. She was empty. And that scared me more than anything she'd done so far. Because empty people don't want to fix things. They want to drag you back in with them. She stood in my doorway like a completely different person than the one who had walked out months ago. No makeup, no rehearsed expressions, no attitude. Just empty. The kind of empty that comes after someone finally realizes the consequences aren't temporary. She asked softly, "Can I come in?" And I don't know why, but I stepped aside. Not to reconcile, not to talk, but because I wanted to hear the truth without the performance. She sat on the edge of my couch, hands twisted together like she was trying to hold herself in place. "I didn't think I would lose everything," she said quietly. Not, "I didn't think I would lose you." Not, "I didn't think I would hurt you." She meant the image, the attention, the pedestal. I sat across from her, arms crossed, waiting. She started talking about how the trip wasn't fun, how he didn't treat her like she remembered, how the girls she thought were her friends turned on her when the screenshots surfaced, how her own sister siding with me felt like betrayal. She said, "I just thought I'd always have options." And that sentence hit me harder than everything else combined. Because that was the truth. She never chose me. She chose the idea of being desired. I asked her one question. If he had chosen you, would you be here right now? She looked at me, tears forming, and didn't answer. Silence. Heavy. Solid. Final. She didn't have to say it. We both knew. I nodded slowly and stood up. "Thank you for being honest," I said. She broke again, reaching for me like muscle memory. "Please, we can fix this. We can start over. I'll cut him off. I'll change. I'll prove it." Her voice was shaking so hard I could feel it in the room. But change doesn't hit when someone loses you. It hits when they almost lose themselves. And she wasn't there yet. I gently pulled my arm away. "I don't hate you," I said. "I just learned to love myself more." She covered her face, sobbing. No drama, no performance. Just grief. Pure and raw. I opened the door for her, not to throw her out, but so she could walk out with whatever dignity she had left. She paused in the doorway, wiped her tears, and whispered, "You really were good to me." I didn't respond. I just held the door. She walked out quietly, and this time, she didn't look back. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel satisfaction. I just felt done. Not bitter, not broken, just free. Weeks passed. I focused on my life. I didn't chase love. I didn't try to fill the space she left. I let it be empty until I could grow into it. And then one day, while grabbing coffee, a girl behind me in line tapped my shoulder. I just wanted to say, "Your post a while back about self-respect, it helped me leave someone I should have left a long time ago." She smiled, small, genuine. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something warm move in my chest. Not love, not interest, just possibility. And that was enough. Alyssa posted another quote months later, something about learning to love yourself after losing someone you didn't appreciate. People reposted it, commented hearts, moved on. I didn't. I learned. And here's the real ending. She didn't break me. She taught me my worth. And I will never again negotiate my value just to be chosen. Because the right person won't need me to lose myself to keep them. They'll meet me where I stand.